Last year I was contacted by the director, Patty Reese, and became aware that Larry Meeker was donating through Kohler some of the pieces to this site. And so she was asking me about the pieces that we have, what they were getting, my opinions on whether some of them might be a little politically charged or how they would be received.
We started in 2019. We conserved the T Liggett art environment site in Mullinville, Kansas, and we were there for about 2 years, and we conserved about 700 sculptures, built a visitor center that included an artist in residency studio and a workshop too, so that artists could both live and work there. And the 547 Art Center has done a wonderful job programming around that. And so we met a lot of friends of MT when we were there, including Larry Meeker. And so when the project ended, he asked if we can work with his personal collection. After that, the Andersons came to us and asked if we could work with their collection of T Liggett sculptures. And that's where this collection came from, is from their private collections.
The Andersons collected some of his work after we began collecting his work. I kind of introduced him to the Andersons and a few other people in Kansas City. In fact, one, Perseus over here, was one that I got him to donate to a Beyond Bounds art auction at the Johnson County Community College for the Norman Museum. So they collected. We collected a lot. Our yard was full of them at Lake Quivira. And I always felt like there was something really important about having a lot of them together. And I think the Volland Foundation, when they came to visit our house, saw lots of them in the yard and became aware of the importance of having more than just one or two, but having a collection of them.
I'm Ann Dixon. I am the co-administrative director at the 547 Art Center and the T Liggett Art Environment in Greensburg, Kansas and in Mullinville, Kansas. As the director of the T Liggett Art Environment, I was asked to come and speak. I knew MT personally and for many years and was a friend, and so they wanted a little bit about knowing him and his personality and what he was like. So
I knew MT for about 10 years, and as an artist in Kansas, you hear about these legends who are working usually in rural communities. And I would seek out anybody doing something really odd, unique, or amazing, and Liggett was one of those. So I'd stop by every year or so just to see what was up with him, and could see through his blunt, belligerent nature to know that there was a super genuine, friendly, caring person underneath, and we got to be friends.
I met MT a year after I saw his work. I was driving from Dodge City to Pratt, Kansas for an early 9 o'clock meeting one morning. It was foggy, it was fall, just about this time of year, sunrise. And as I came across the hill to come into the northern part of Mullinville, all these sculptures began to undress themselves out of the fog that was there. The New York Times, Washington Post, several newspapers called me because they knew of his work. When I'd gone out to visit, there were many people there, oftentimes, some from foreign countries. I met people from Europe there who'd found his work and had come out to see what this guy was doing.
Well, MT in the self-taught art world is really prolific. He, had a voice and he wanted to tell everybody, and so that's when he created so many sculptures. But then he also had a softer side to him. He created friends, such, the couples that are here today, the friends that are here today, and just developed these relationships. And he just wanted the world to be fair, and he did that through his art. So even though he did go to school for law and he did have a degree, he doesn't have an art degree, so it's just magnificent that he was able to use such heavy raw materials that he found in the fields. He used tractor parts, he used combine parts, and then he just created what he called these totems, and he did it from Greek mythology to political figures to his lovers to his wives, and just wanted to share his story with the world.
Liggett was an artist who used materials that he was familiar with. So in the Greensburg and Mullinville area, it's a big oil country, so he used a lot of oil field pipe. He used a lot of materials that you would find in agricultural worlds. He was a big friend of the scrap metal dealer, so anything that could be cut up and reformed into something new, MT had a pile of. So he would cut out shapes, weld them together, sometimes paint them, but always label them with who he was representing. And then he would erect these sort of totems along his part of the highway frontage, and those assembled together into a whole environment just full of his work.
I really don't have an idea how many pieces he created because he gave away a lot of small pieces through the years to people. But at our site we have over 700. He was hooked creating, and he would use any piece of metal he could find and began sculpting small pieces, and then the longer he created, the bigger the sculptures got. The largest one that we have on site is about 2 stories tall.
So we decided, when we knew that there were going to be Liggett sculptures coming here, we wanted some sort of tie-in to the local community. And since Liggett was so much of his rural community, it just made sense that for an inside exhibition, it would be tied to the local community too. So we put a call out for residents to bring in whatever they were passionate about or would consider a wonder, something that they made or something that their family made that really had a story that connects back to this sense of place.
The Volland site here is just so natural and so beautiful, and it makes me feel very at peace and right at home. I think that with this wonderful bit of nature encompassing the site, that this is a perfect place for the MT pieces that have been installed here. And I know that the Patty and the volunteers that work here are not only concerned about the preservation of his work, but also continuing to be advocates for the arts and build this site and the area and invest here.
Volland makes me feel that art is important to rural America. In fact, I think it's important to every community. Someone asked me after MT died, and they were writing newspaper articles about it. I said, well, wasn't he just a roadside artist, just making roadside tourism things? And I said, well, the difference between MT and all the roadside things you can pick up as you drive in the Ozarks or wherever you go is that when you leave, you'll talk about it, and you won't in other places.
It was late in the fall, she was riding